With 4th of July right around the corner, it's time to decorate our farmhouse. In today's video, it's going to be a marathon of past decorating around our farmhouse for the 4th of July. We'll be doing some making, baking, thrifting, and of course, lots of decorating. So be sure to grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and I hope you find a ton of inspiration, not only just for your summer decor, but hopefully ways to slow down and enjoy this amazing summertime freedom. So it seems like no matter what holiday I'm decorating for, I always start by pulling in items from storage or from around the house that inspire the look that I'm going for in that season, or things that I can repurpose. I often use a lot of the same decor in different ways just by adding a pop of color. I also have the newest edition of Country Sampler magazine. This is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form, but I was inspired by this magazine and I wanted to share with you that one of my creations was featured in the magazine for July. So I was super honored to be in their magazine, and you can see my scrappy flag craft, if you will, that I made actually a couple years ago and shared on my blog. They reached out to me and wanted to put it in their magazine. So of course I was so excited about this, and I thought I'd share it with you guys as well. But I had a really good time flipping through the magazine and looking at other inspiration, patriotic decor and such. I just love that country style, some primitive decor, and this fit right in with everything. I put this on my mantle almost every year, and I was very honored again to be in their magazine. All right, moving into the dining room, I'm still removing lavender from my Easter decor. I don't know about you, but the month of May just about did me in. So it was all I could do to put up the Easter eggs and then stuff the rest of the florals in a vase and call it a day. So I thought, just to freshen up the dining room a little bit, I would stuff in a few little US flags. And I feel like these are a great, inexpensive way to add a lot of that patriotic color to your bouquets around the house. Again, without spending a lot of money, but it's perfect for parties just to stuff them in. And then I have a lot of extra flags, so I thought I would just set some of those around the house with bells and brighten up the space with all the red, white, and blue that I could find. You know, when it comes to decorating for the seasons, I feel like it's unrealistic to think that I could just have everything decorated everywhere. Like, you need to create little moments in your house, little areas that you can add those holiday vibes to. And you're gonna have to do it, sometimes you have to do it in shifts. Like you'll see here, some of this time was during nap time and some of this was after school. So I just kind of grabbed all my things and tried to make it simple and did it when I had time. You know, I had been putting off this, I guess you could call it a chore, of redecorating the house, but I don't know why I did, because to me it's not a chore. I actually really love the process of decorating the house. It's such a creative process for me. I like moving things around and balancing out my open shelving so that it just it fits with the season that we're in. My kids always notice when it's different and when it's fresh, and it just adds a little bit more life back into your home. So if you enjoy that creative process, make time for it, because it'll easily get overlooked, you know, in months like May when you're just trying to get by and make it through the school year. But if you just take a few minutes just to freshen up even one space in your home, it just makes it feel so much better. I also want to add that one thing I love about the decor process, and something I find to be a challenge, is to see what I can find around the house that I can work into my decor without buying something new. Because it's easy to run out to Hobby Lobby or Target and find all the new things and make it look really cute. But if you can get creative with what you have around the house and search for colors and textures and repurpose old items like the Folgers coffee tin that you saw there, I find those things exciting when something comes together and I didn't have to spend a dime on it. I guess with the money I saved, I ended up buying cleaner and candles, because at the end of the day, with 3 young kids in the house, it's never fully clean, but if it smells clean, mama is happy. I'm loving this new Orange Grove candle from the Antique Candle Co., and I'll link those down below for you. This year I did invest in some new bunting for the front porch. the set that I had before we've had since we added on to the house, so about 7 or 8 summers ago, and they were just starting to get really faded, so I decided to reinvest in some new ones this year. I thought that was a pretty good lifespan for how long we leave these on the porch during the summer, but I will link those below if you're interested. All right, so if you've been hanging around my channel for any amount of time now, you know that I love antiques, I love repurposed items, and when I am going thrifting or antiquing, I'm always looking for pieces that are not only perfect for the season that I'm in, but something that can also be used in my home decor throughout the year. So I'm looking today for a lot of red, white, and blue inspiration, but also red and white pieces that I could also repurpose maybe as we turn the corner for Christmas, or for Valentine's Day. I'm often looking for those pieces that I could repurpose in many different ways. I liked these baskets. I felt like there was a lot of different things you could do with them for a party, as far as putting your snacks and things inside of them, bags of chips. And I also liked these lanterns for outside. I thought you could really make a cute tablescape outside, maybe with some citronella candles thrown into the mix too, just for that 4th of July functionality. And then those little buckets I loved as well, but lots of different things to incorporate into tablescapes outside. And I was really just looking for the pieces that gave me the most bang for my buck, but I wanted to show you lots of little things that I liked along the way. This little blue stool was super cute. I don't know why I'm always attracted to furniture in antique stores, but I always have to make sure it's something perfect before I dive in, because you can only have so much furniture. I thought this little quilt was really cute, just as a little decoration for the 4th of July, but obviously anytime in the summertime. I thought that was a really cute little piece as well. And any blue and white dishes, I actually don't have very many of those, but I think they're perfect for summertime, springtime, and could incorporate them in lots of different ways. I found lots of canisters, and I just wanted to show you what some of the prices were here at the antique store. But these were, if you watched my patriotic decoration video, I did use those quite a bit in my decoration. I'll try to link to that video up here in the cards. I was very tempted by this little George Washington Tintin. I thought this was so cute, but again, I feel like I would really only use it around the 4th of July, so I ended up passing, but it's still on my radar. I may have to go back and get it. This sign, although not antique, was completely a thrift impulse purchase, if you will. I just felt like it would be perfect on my little popcorn stand that you guys saw in the Sandlot video I did recently, and I would have loved to also have this Coca-Cola cooler. If any of my loved ones are watching this, I would love that for a Christmas gift. Lanterns are always something that I'm always drawn to, as well as bells. If these would have been brass or bronze bells, I think I would have gotten them, because I feel like they're perfect at Christmas time too, but with a little bit of maybe some material or little primitive plaids, I feel like it could be really cute. I don't know why I was also drawn to these little lard buckets, because I felt like they could be really cute with your utensils in them, napkins and things, because we are having a pulled pork barbecue, and the red, white, and blue. I don't know why. I was just kind of drawn to those. I actually don't even know how old they were, but I thought they were cute. And then this little caddy was just kind of caught my eye, and I thought it was a steal for only $9. So I actually ended up grabbing this one, and I'll show you at the end some ideas that I have for it. These ketchup bottles were also really cool. I don't know what era these are from, but I really loved the shape, and then the stars at the top. I thought that was really cute, but just not the investment that I was ready to make for that day. There was lots of primitive and handmade things in some of the booths in the store too, so I was just getting all the patriotic vibes as I moved through the spaces, but some of these were so cute. I really liked this little square stars and stripes. I felt like just the simplicity of that one. I was really tempted to grab that one too. I also don't know what you call these stars, but I thought they were really cute, and they had several of them. I was kind of tempted to grab all of them and make like a little focal point at our party, but I do have a big star, so I'm going to try to use that for our party, and I'll show you how it turns out. This little lamp was very tempting too. I may have to go back and get that for our bedroom, and just put like a little puck light in it or something, because I feel like that could be really cool, like a little battery light. again with the stars here and more of like a heavy duty one. That one was a little bit more tempting. I'm also a sucker for anything Coca-Cola. I think Coca-Cola boxes and all of that is so cute for the 4th of July and just has that nostalgic feel to it. So if you have a Coca-Cola collection, I would be breaking that out every 4th of July because I think that would be really cute with all the red, white, and blue. In hindsight, I don't know what this blanket is below this sign, but I don't know why I was distracted by the sign and not that cute blanket underneath. I may have to go back. I also love these little enamel dishes. I didn't see any prices on these, but I was very tempted by those too because I think they're also cute at Christmas time with the red and white. So again, I'm always looking for red and white pieces or pieces that I can use in different seasons so that because I don't know about you, I don't have a huge storage room where I can put all of my home decor. So I always want it to be functional year round or for different seasons. And I was just so tempted by so many things. I love shopping, but I love thrift shopping, but I especially love it if I have a purpose for the season or a certain thing that I'm looking for because it helps me to stay focused and not just buy all the things. Like this really cute little display box. I don't know if this was what they say it was, but I thought it was adorable. It says it's an antique red painted glass display case, and I just thought it was so stinking cute. Speaking of so stinking cute, my favorite little coffee shop, for Philly's Mercantile, happened to be open next door, so of course, why would I not go in and get a coffee and continue to do a little patriotic shopping and get some inspiration in here. If you are around these parts, definitely pop in to this little Mercantile outside of Lowry City, Missouri. These little clay handmade earrings are so adorable. Look at those. Oh my gosh. I was so amazed. So cute. And of course you can shop my business inside of this coffee shop as well. We put all of our t-shirts and new arrivals in there. So I always check on those things while I'm there. This little red, white, and blue apron caught my attention. I thought that was really cute. And just like a timeless little thing to have or gift for someone at the 4th of July. And I was super tempted by this pillow. So stinking cute. And for only $11.95, a handmade pillow. Absolutely adorable. And then I also really liked the stars. I thought those were really great inspiration for things to sprinkle on the tables or put on the open shelving for the 4th of July. I thought those were super creative, and I loved the raw edges as well. And then getting into these placemats and table runners, but some really awesome craftsmanship here. But I just really love that. I think that would be really cute hanging on the wall too. On to get my coffee. Or ice cream. I don't know. It's like, oh, what do you do? I ended up getting an iced cold brew concoction. I am what you could call a frequent flyer at Fort Valley's coffee shop, but for some reason, I still like to change it up all the time. I'm always trying new coffees in there. So good. Anyway, we had our trailer parked outside this past week, so I just thought I'd show you a few snippets of our 4th of July merchandise and our sale going on outside right next to the antique shop. It was super convenient for me to get a little bit of antique shopping done. Now I'm headed home, and I'll be sure to show you guys what I ended up with here in just a minute. Oh, and as I'm loading up, I have to show you my cute new purse that I just got. This is from Rebecca Scott Designs, which is a handmade, amazing bag line from South Dakota. They are so great with their quality. You pick your fabrics, you pick your zippers, you pick all of the things. You get to create it and design it yourself, and then they sew it all together. My favorite parts, though, have to be the functionality because there are so many pockets. We're talking like at least 10 pockets in this one purse. And then I had to hit up the bake sale too. These were called Cook Sisters, and I believe they said they were a South African treat, but they were so stinking good. They kind of reminded me of a homemade donut, but absolutely delicious. Okay, so I'm sorry, but I'm going to kind of leave you on a cliffhanger this week because I want you to stick around and see how I use all of this at my 4th of July party, but just adding a little flag to that little caddy made it come to life in my kitchen, but I have plans for it at my party as well. I ended up with this stoneware and this little candlestick for our bedroom, so that was kind of not exactly 4th of July related, although I think I'll use the stoneware for the party as well with a little American flag. I got a blue book and a red book to incorporate into some items for the 4th of July party. And then again, that homemade sign, I'm definitely going to use that on the cart that I used for our sandlot party. I'm just trying to decide if it's going to be popcorn or peanuts or homemade pies. I'm not sure. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I would love for you to stick around and see what's going to happen next. And these, I do have a plan for these, which I'm super excited about. And I feel like I can use these in any season. So we started the morning off with a glorious rain shower. It was much needed. I know all the farmers in our area were probably loving this. It was a nice steady fall of rain, and I just loved it. So I had to flip the flags over and pick up random diapers on the front porch. This is my life. But it was just such a nice way to start the day, and I love how it gave everything a nice shower before our fireworks in the evening. I thought that would also be a great thing. So it did put a damper on getting any decorations out in the yard, so I did fiddle around the house and try to put up some of my decor. You'll remember the homemade sign I thrifted last week. If you haven't seen that video, I will link to the Thrift With Me video. I freshened up my shelves in the mudroom while I could stay inside and do a few things. And then I set this little basket here for all of our guests. I added bug spray. I ended up putting a little bit of sunscreen in there, buggy bands, Band-Aids, because it never fails that someone needs a Band-Aid while they're at our house running around. And then I ended up putting some hand wipes and baby wipes in there too. So it was a nice little caddy that came in handy with all the kiddos running around later that evening. I whipped up some amazing cheesy potatoes is what I meant, to get those ready for the party. And then finally it cleared off enough that I could go to our back porch, which looks really cluttered here because we had everything up on our covered porch to keep it out of the rain. But I did my best to just get all of my tables ready, and then that way when the rain cleared off, I could put it all out in the yard after that. I don't know if this is your life too, but all summer long you find me doing this because no one in my family shuts the door ever. Anyway, apparently I didn't read how large my tablecloths were either, so they didn't fit my tables, but they worked good enough as a little, almost like a runner. We're just gonna go with it. And then I set out my buckets that I also thrifted for peanuts later, but of course it was so kind of humid and wet outside, I didn't want to put peanuts out until closer to time for our guests to arrive. So here you'll see me getting our drink cart prepared. I had to kind of level out the area. And then this big jug was another one of my thrifted items that I found last week. In that video, you can go back and see it. I thought it looked really cute with these large flags in there. And then I decided to do my big mason jar containers for some pink lemonade and iced tea later on. I ended up making those ahead of time, and then right before the guests arrived, or right as they were arriving, I added ice to it so I could get all of this done kind of ahead of time. The little red, white, and blue suitcase was something I've had since probably our wedding almost 10 years ago. I've always loved old trunks and suitcases, and this one's just been in my decorations around the house. And I couldn't believe I hadn't really put two and two together that it would be perfect for the 4th of July, but I loved how it came together here on the drink cart. This little bunting was something I found at Hobby Lobby this past week, and I just couldn't resist something that's so cute. I loved the colors, and it's something I can reuse every year, indoor or outdoor, so I thought it really set off the cart and added a little nice touch to it. And then the only thing I added later on were some cups to the tray you see here on the right, and then we had a cooler for some water bottles and a little bucket of ice for our guests. Another fun piece of decor I just happened to have laying around the house was this big star. My husband gave it to me a few years ago for Christmas. It actually lights up, but I didn't end up putting batteries in it. But I thought it was perfect for the 4th of July too, and I don't know why I hadn't thought about that before either, but I really liked hanging it here by the door, and I feel like it was just a nice little focal point by our back door. I then added the second thing of bunting that I grabbed at Hobby Lobby across the doorway. Honestly, because I felt like everything else was pretty decorated, and I just thought it looked really cute hanging between our little lanterns here. So it was a nice little finishing touch to draw your eye into the back porch. Alright, so if you remember the little caddy I found in the Thrift With Me video, this is what I ended up deciding to do with it for the party. I feel like it's a cute little caddy you can do a lot of different things with. For the party, I got some farm fresh flowers from a local flower farm, and I just thought there was a little assortment, was so cute, and it had a little bit of red, white, and blue in it, and then also like the black-eyed Susans, which I just feel like between those and sunflowers, it's always really festive for the 4th. In past years, I feel like I've always had a lot of zinnias in our garden that I can go and just grab at the last minute, but our growing season has been so delayed here this year because it was so cold this spring that I really don't have many flowers at all at this very time. So I was really, really excited to have such a cute bouquet for this little caddy, and I thought it came together really nice with just a little flag. I actually tried to get more flags, but they were sold out because I'm a last minute person trying to get it on Walmart pickup 2 days before I needed it. So I thought I just had one flag, but I thought it turned out cute anyway. I'm excited to do other things with this caddy in the future. If you have ideas for me, let me know in the comments below what you would do with this caddy. Okay, so I had a little bit of a bare area right here between the sidewalk and the drink cart, and so I wanted to make it look a little bit more welcoming. And honestly, I still had too much junk sitting on my back porch, so I thought, let's put it out here and make it look cute instead. So I thought about doing a welcome sign, but I decided to just go with kind of lanterns and some old things that I had on the back porch to fill the area. And as you can see here, chalkboards live on my back porch with whatever was written on them the very last time we had a party. So if you remember the Sandlot birthday party, that's what that's from, but we're gonna fix that here in just a minute. I just like to lay everything out with the chalkboard and kind of get the layout right first before I decide what's gonna go on the chalkboard. I also was kind of battling the rain off and on this afternoon, so I just wanted to make sure I had a plan, and so if I had to take it back out again under the covered porch, then I knew what I was going to do with it later. So oftentimes I'll go to Pinterest if I can't think of anything for a sign in the moment, so I just kind of searched for patriotic quotes and sayings, and I decided this one fit my decor the best, and that's what I decided to go with, just a good old handwritten chalkboard sign. When I was a kid, I went to an old private school and my grandmother helped clean. So every afternoon after school was over, I remember going into the school and help cleaning the chalkboards that were like stretched as long as the walls. And I just always loved playing with chalkboards. I thought it was the perfect little finishing touch to that area, and now we can start to get the last minute touches ready, like peanuts in our buckets for our guests. I love having peanuts and shells on the back porch. It makes my heart so happy. Nothing is better than that in the summertime. It's the last calm before the storm of guests start to arrive. As you can see, Nelson is taking his last little nap on the porch before all the fireworks and shenanigans. And I think everything came together well. I just need to ice down some of my drinks and start greeting our guests. I had to show my son snapdragons and how they talk. It was one of my favorite flowers growing up, and he was so amazed. So one had fallen off and he was so excited to go show everyone how it worked. Did you know that about snapdragons? Let me know in the comments below. We had a beautiful 4th of July party, and I really enjoyed decorating for it. We had great food. I mean, fantastic food. We ate and ate and ate. I think everyone was stuffed, but it really hit me as the sun went down and I got to, relax and watch all of our guests and be with them, how important it is to just have these good people in our lives. Because cute decorations and an awesome food aside, the thing that matters the most is who ends up at the party. And gosh, I feel so blessed that we have such good family and friends, and we can have so much laughter and love at our parties. So that's the most important thing to take away from this and your 4th of July gatherings, is just to enjoy the people that are there. Alright guys, thanks for stopping by. Happy 4th of July. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I would really appreciate that. Let me know in the comments below, and of course subscribe to my channel for more things country living. I love to share rustic recipes, farmhouse decor, and all things country styling. I'll see you back here again soon. Hey there, today I am decorating our farmhouse for the 4th of July. It is about time, is it not? Let's bring out the red, white, and blue and spruce up our spaces, reimagining some of the decor I already have. Let's do it. Well, I guess the first step to this not so glamorous part of decorating is entering my fancy storage space underneath the basement stairs. It's more organized than it looks. I keep things on this shelf that I like to use in different seasons, like these red containers I will also use at Christmas time. My little bell I pull out for random occasions. Oh! But you gotta make sure not to spill all of the glass off the shelf. I usually have way too many things in my hands, and I find way too many things, including random sailor hats and lace. I mean, why not? There's many things in there. Told you, very organized. Anyway, I am still bringing things down from Easter. I had taken down like the eggs and things and left everything up for just kind of a summer decor in between moment. And now I just left out some of the greenery and put everything else away so that we could see what we have, pull out all the red, white, and blue, and start mixing and matching. I like to switch it up every year. I don't put out the exact same I put out the exact same things, but not in the exact same way. So I might use the same containers, but use them in different rooms and try to switch it up. So let's get busy today and see what we can come up with. I don't know about you, but the month of May, I think almost did me in. It was quite the doozy around here to survive. I feel like I spent the whole month just kind of cleaning our home, keeping it functioning, but I didn't really get around to actually decorating it. So although I would have liked to have all of this done before Memorial Day, it did not happen, and now it's a little bit less than a month until the 4th of July, so here we go. You might have seen me pull in that flag and try to put it on the top shelf first, but unfortunately, one thing about living in an old farmhouse is the ceilings aren't quite as tall as you think they should be, so sometimes that larger artwork doesn't work out for me, but I actually ended up swapping these off of the wall, and I thought I might try it in the kitchen. I like to switch around artwork and things that I already have in my home, and sometimes just bringing it into a different room brings such a fresh perspective and just get the, it kind of gets the creative juices going. This artwork has a little road, as you can see, and it leads to a little farmstead with a red barn. You can barely see it in this video. It's just a small little red barn in the corner, but I thought I would just balance that out with the little flags and play off of all of those pretty colors. I have more open shelving on the other side of my kitchen, so I kept it really simple, and I just put up those pinwheels again at the top to add the red, white, and blue. And then of course the greenery ties in because of this vine that is getting way too big for my kitchen at this point. We might have to find it a new home. All right, I feel like I'm skipping around on you a little bit, but that is honestly how I decorate my house. I had to take a break and go get the kids from summer school, and now we're back. But stick with me, we're gonna do a quick centerpiece here in the middle of my kitchen island, and then I'll show you how the entire kitchen came together. So for the island, I used a cute little tea towel that I found last year. I think I found it at Hobby Lobby. Instead of the placemat, I just switched it out for a little bit of a red, white, and blue touch. I like to hang them on my oven, but my kids I feel like they knock it on the floor every 2 seconds, so I thought this is just a better way of adding that little touch of red, white, and blue to the kitchen. The pinwheels, it's all kind of temporary. I'll probably pull it out and put some fresh flowers in it at some point, but those are the extras around the kitchen. Here's how everything came together. So in the other room where I took down the artwork, I decided I would try to hang up my flag window. You guys saw this last year on my mantle, so again, I'm just trying to like switch things up a little bit, use them in different places, but I don't go out and buy new decor every year. I really like to use what I have if I can, and if I don't have to spend a dime, that's always great, and feel like I still have something fresh and new. So always look around your house first and try to swap things out. Speaking of which, I found these mason jars in my stash of mason jars last year, and I set them aside so that I wouldn't lose them for this year's patriotic decor. This one has a star on it, and the other one has the bell 1776. I don't know if it's a collector's item, but I thought it was cute and perfect for the 4th of July. So I'm gonna use these for a little centerpiece in the living room, and I'm praying they're not worth money, because I'm not planning on breaking them, but I do have 3 small children, so we're gonna do our best. I decided to put little lights in them because I just thought it was so fun. They twinkle, and it kind of, to me, it's reminiscent of catching fireflies in the backyard, and to me that is all about summertime and like 4th of July feelings. So my soon-to-be 6-year-old saw them lit up this night after I had decorated, and he said, "Mom, is it almost a holiday?" He was so excited. He knows when the lights come out that it's almost a holiday and that we are going to celebrate something special, and I thought that was so sweet. All right, moving into the dining room, along again with having small kids, I like to keep it pretty simple on our dining room table. That way we can move it around, or if things get knocked over, nothing's hurt. So the good old Folgers can came out in the dining room this year. If you want to go back and watch last year's video, I actually used the cans in the kitchen. So I will link last year's video if you want to get some different ideas on how to use those. On the mantle, I kept it pretty simple. I put the star up. I had some extra candles lying around, and I kind of just threw those in around it to balance it, along with a little patriotic banner. And I found this new to me tin can out in our old barn. It is unfortunately falling down, and so we're finding some little treasures here and there. I love that it's red, white, and blue, but unfortunately it's got a lot of age to it at this point, so I just did the best I could to clean it up, and I thought it was just kind of cute and quaint in our mudroom above the sink. And then in our little nook that leads from the mudroom to the kitchen, I kept my trusty basket that we use for a lot of summer get-togethers. I would like to throw everything in it and take it out to the porch. It'll be easy to grab. I like cute, simple, and functional decor, and this is perfect. I hope you enjoyed today's video and maybe took away a few ideas on decorating your house with some patriotic touches this summer. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I would love it if you would subscribe and hang out with us again soon. I love to share all things country living, including our small farm happenings. If you're up for it, we would love your prayers for rain here in Missouri. It is very dry this season, and we could sure use them. I hope to see you back here again soon. Have a great week. Hey there, welcome back to our Century Farmhouse. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of decorating, baking, sewing, and preserving, all of my favorite things in the farmhouse this summer. I hope you'll join me on this holiday weekend. Hey there, it's Lauren with Rustic Honey. Welcome back. I hope you guys are having a wonderful 4th of July weekend. I know it has been nice to relax around here after a few busy weeks here at the farmhouse. I kind of left you last week with a big pile of cucumbers, and as you can see after the video, I got started on making some pickles for our pantry. I had no intention of canning pickles this year, but Dan had planted so many cucumber plants that they were just multiplying on my counters, and I couldn't seem to give them away quick enough, so I thought I need to make a batch of pickles because I don't want to see anything get wasted. But if I'm being completely honest with you, I still did not get to every single cucumber that came out of our garden, and the rest of those were fed to our chickens. So here on the farm, I feel like it's easier to not waste food. I at least feel like if we can't get to something, that our animals will end up eating the scraps. So that's what I did with those, and I worked up a batch of pickles here, as you can see, with onions. I'm working on bread and butter pickles this evening. Probably our favorite pickle in this household, and we'll use it on various different sandwiches and burgers throughout the year. I'm hoping that this batch that I made will last us for a year. The recipe I am following today is from the Ball Blue Book, and I'm actually making a triple batch of what the recipe is in that book. I will link that book down below. If you are into canning or would like to get into canning especially, I think that it's a great resource to have to better understand how to preserve our food, because some items you do need to water bath and other items you need to pressure can. So it's important to read up on all of those things so you know how to can safely to preserve your food in the best way. Also, if you're new to canning, grab a buddy who knows what they're doing. My mother-in-law showed me how to can back when we first got married, and I have been so grateful for that experience to work alongside someone in their kitchen that knows what they're doing. And I feel like being able to see someone work through the process is very helpful for me. If you don't have a friend, maybe you need to be that friend for someone else, or if you're just getting started and you don't have access to someone else, definitely check out other videos on YouTube. I am no expert by any means, but I have been canning for a while. So if you'd like to see more canning content, I guess let me know about that in the comments below. I will share as much as I can about what I know. Now, those pickles will have to set for a while before they really take on the full pickle flavor. So I am going to store those in the pantry. But if you watched last week's video, you know I still have cucumbers and onions ready to go for our hamburgers later this evening. So with dinner all planned out, let's get busy around the house. I would like to get some patriotic decor out today, freshen up some things around our home outside of the kitchen, and I even want to bring you through a fun little 4th of July sewing project that I've been avoiding for quite some time now. As you saw there, I was ever so gently trying to step into the garden with my sandals on because the soil is still very wet. We've continued to get really good rain showers here, and I almost don't want to say that because I'm afraid I'll jinx it, because at any point it feels like we could stop getting rain and it'll just be dry and hot like it was last summer. So we're very thankful for the rain this year, and our garden has been doing lovely as well. What has not been doing lovely is my kitchen over here. We have this one side of the counter that's always just filled with stuff. It's like a hot spot all the time. And as you can see, my little home basket there, it was getting out of control after having the baby. I had just been stuffing things in it. So I need to reorganize that later this week too. But I wanted to freshen up the kitchen with some more patriotic vibes. So I had to pull back out the red and white little curtains here. You may have seen me sew these tan colored ones earlier this spring. I think if I put them back up, I'm going to put a lining behind them because they ended up being so thin. They did the trick for a while, but I'm ready to have the red, white, and blue out today, so I thought I would break these out. I often decorate with these at Christmas time too, but I have to say they're my favorite in the summer because they make me think of picnics, and of course they go great with all of my patriotic decor. And since all I had to do was switch these curtains out, it was something I had already made in the past. It's a quick little not even 15 minutes. It's a 5-minute task that makes a big impact in my kitchen to freshen things up for the season. So it is a little bit of a labor of love to sew new curtains, but I do love keeping them and changing them throughout the season because it really does freshen up the space. I also love to add a little bit to our open shelving. I thought about hanging this bunting here and I really liked it, but I felt like it clashed with the red and the white that I had everywhere else. It's a little bit more of a vibrant red and white in the curtains. And so I just ended up putting them in a different spot because I didn't feel like it jived quite right for me. And I have this really big vase in the basement that I keep these flags in throughout the year just to store them. And I happened to set it on my island, and for some reason that just was a happy accident, and I added some florals to it to create a little centerpiece, and I really liked it, so I thought I would just leave it there. I love when something new like that just happens to come together. It's great when something like that happens on its own with something you already own. You don't have to go out and buy anything new. And I know I've said that many times on my channel, but I will often just bring up all of my decor and set it all out and then just see where the inspiration takes me. I don't always decorate the same every season. Now it's about 2:30 in the afternoon, and as you can imagine, my kids are already hungry again. In fact, my oldest came up and asked me what time dinner was. So back to the kitchen I go. I made them some of those corn dogs that we had made in our freezer video. I'll link those below. So the mini corn dogs to the rescue for an afternoon little snack on the back porch, and I'm gonna throw in some freezer cookies as well. I don't know why I try to freeze the cookie dough, because it seems like the kids either eat it frozen out of the freezer or we bake them within just a couple days. There's really no reason to freeze cookie dough around here, because the more cookie dough we have on hand, the more cookies we end up baking. All right, while we're in the kitchen, let's go ahead and get a prep for tonight going. I'm going to make hamburgers on the grill, but I wanted to make some hamburger buns, mostly because I don't have anything on hand. I often just buy hamburger buns from the store because that's the easiest thing, but I've been seeing so many homemade ones lately online. They've been following me around, and I thought, you know, I can try that. We'll try a homemade hamburger buns. I can surely make this happen. So I think we often build up these things in our heads to be so much more difficult than they are. As you guys know, I've been making bread for a while, so I don't know why I thought it seemed so much more complex to make a hamburger bun when really it's basically the same thing. So I followed a recipe I found online. I'll be sure to link it below so that you can try it out too. But it was really easy to throw together. The biggest hurdle, or the biggest obstacle that I had to face, was remembering to start my dough earlier in the day so that I had plenty of rise time before dinner. That's usually, especially something on like a Friday evening, I think is the night that I'm doing this. So something on a Friday sometimes gets away from me quickly. That's why I love to have a dinner plan by at least lunchtime every day, so I know what I'm walking into. Because if I open my refrigerator at 5 o'clock and I don't see anything ready to go, it's really overwhelming, and I'm much more likely to order pizza at that point. So like I said, this recipe was really simple. I just had to mix up the ingredients, let it sit for a couple hours, and then right here I'm shaping it into the little buns. And then I'm gonna let these rest on the counter for another hour, hour and a half before they're ready to bake. The actual hands-on process of this recipe isn't very much. It's just making sure that you have enough time for the rise, of course, in between. This recipe made about 8 hamburger buns, and I will say I probably should have just went ahead and done a double batch, because with my growing boys, we went through these really quickly the first night, and I had actually made extra hamburger patties, as you'll see later in the video, just to have some leftovers for the next day's lunch. So if you have a big family, you might want to double this recipe, but you know, while you have everything dirty, you might as well go ahead and do it all at once. I ended up making another batch of these later on to go with the rest of the hamburgers. And as you can see here, I am separating 1 egg yolk and egg white. So we're going to use the egg white to brush on top of our buns. It's going to give them that nice brown color and make them really pretty. You'll have to stick with me because these are really pretty when they come out of the oven, and I was very pleasantly surprised at what I had created. It was one of those proud moments where something comes out of the oven and you're like, I did it. Look at that. It's so cute. I think it's the sesame seeds. It just sets it off. It makes it, it's like sprinkles on a cookie. My kids really like the sesame seeds too, which I think is funny because I think some kids don't like sesame seeds, but my kids think that is like maybe the McDonald's burger, so they just get excited about that. I don't know what it is. All right, we're going to pop those buns in the oven, and while we're waiting, we might as well do a little bit of a cleanup here on these jars and get them into the pantry for our long-term storage. So as you can see, I've removed the rings from the caps and made sure that everything's sealed wonderfully, and it was a 100% sealing batch, which is always exciting. If you can, you know exactly what I mean, because every once in a while you have a batch that something doesn't seal and you've got to store it in the fridge or use it right away. So that's always exciting when everything seals and you can put it all away and admire your hard work and know that you'll get to enjoy it throughout the year. Now I'm going to use that egg yolk that I separated earlier to make some homemade mayo with you today. That is something that I wanted to learn how to make this year. Another thing that I thought, you know, from the outside looking in, it looks like a complex recipe. I don't know if I can make that, but it's really so simple. And once you get used to making it more often, like most things, it just becomes second nature. So I will link this recipe, of course, in the description box below too. And it is about time to take the buns out of the oven and show you how beautiful they turn out. This is my excited face all of a sudden when I realize how pretty they are when they come out of the oven. I'm going to set these aside and let them cool while we get things ready to go for the grill. I could have waited and baked these around the same time, but I have a little project in my sewing room that I want to take you to next. and I wanted to make sure everything was ready to go so that hopefully Dan can go monitor the grill while I do a few things upstairs. Now, one project I have been working on this summer is decluttering my sewing room. I really want to paint my sewing room and redo it. So I've just been trying to go through the items that I have and get rid of old projects. But I came across these little strips of denim, and I am so embarrassed to tell you this, but I have had these strips of denim cut out for years now. I want to say probably at least 8 years ago. And I have had the denim for even longer than that. So I thought today I am just finally either going to work on this project or I'm going to just part with it. And so I, for some reason, could not part with it. I thought originally I wanted to make a really big wall hanging or a quilt that looked like an American flag. That was what the inspiration was, because I had seen a leather one hanging on a wall in New York City once, and I thought, well, I'm going to do that, but with denim. And this is probably like 10 years ago, the inspiration hit. And this is how slowly, or how important that project was. Obviously not so. But I thought today, I'm just going to start putting it together. It won't take very long. The strips are already cut. And I guess one gift that I received here with waiting 10 years was all of the pieces are lovely with the frayed edges now. The fray just kind of happened on its own over time as my kids had played with these scraps around the sewing room. So I'm piecing it all together, and I'm trying to decide if I really like the clean cut side or if I like the scrappy look side of the back here. And I think for the sake of this being a really simple project and kind of the vibe I'm going for, I'm going to use the scrappy looking side here with all of the frayed edges. And instead of making a large wall hanging like I had originally pictured for this, I just don't know where I would hang that right now. I thought instead I am gonna make a pillow cover. And I actually had enough denim to do two. So I'm gonna make 2 little pillow covers. I already have some pillows I can throw them on, so I'm just using that to do a quick measure. And then I thought about taking the pieces or the edges of this that I had sewn together and doing like a really cute pieced quilt block for where the stars would be on the flag. But again, for the sake of time and mom life, and I just want to finish this project, I chose a cute little aged ticking stripe, and I'm just going to do a little raw edge seam across the top. I just think that is really cute, and it just ties in really nice with the stripes, but gives you the feel of the American flag at the same time. Now, by the looks of this video, the different outfits and the different lighting, you're probably going to think that this project took me a really long time, but I just want you to know that it actually didn't, but it was done in little pockets of time. So here I am at night sewing for 15 minutes before bed, and then the next morning maybe another 15 minutes to get it all completed. So it was a quick project, a little quick win, and I feel so much better having these done. But I chose a little navy twill for the back, so I'm just getting that pinned on. I could hear my grandmother in the back of my mind saying, pin that together before you go to the sewing machine, because I have a tendency to just wing it and, hope that everything holds together. But when you're doing a pillow with the overlay on the back, it's probably best to try and pin that together. I know I did a quick zoom through on that entire pillow, so let me know if you would like to see a detailed video on how to construct a pillow like this. Let me know in the comments below if you're into sewing or want to learn more. I would definitely love to make a video like that for you if you're interested. Now, the last step is always the most exciting, to see how the pillow came together. We're just going to flip it right side out. And here she is. I just love the lived-in look here, and I love even more that I finally got to use these denim strips. So we're gonna stuff these pillows, and I'm actually gonna sit them down in our living room for the holiday weekend here, and maybe even through Labor Day. But since I have 2, I think I'm going to sit these on my boys' beds in their bedroom. They have matching twin beds. They're kind of antique, and I'm hopefully soon gonna be redoing their room as well. I'm hoping to do kind of a vintage Americana sports theme, so I feel like these would fit very nicely in there. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful 4th of July weekend. We'll see you back here again soon.